right, here we go. It is hard to believe that we are already 7 episodes into this thing, but we are excited to be back. Welcome, everybody, inside to the UPick6 Tap House on the corner of 4th and State for the United Podcast. In case it's your first show joining us, thanks for being with us. This is a show dedicated to Gannon Athletics and all the things that go into it, whether it be the student athletes, the coaches, or the administration, or even community members who make this show possible and keep Gannon Athletics going day by day by day. So happy to have you in. We run every Thursday from 6 to 7 o'clock here inside the UPick6 Tap House. And we're going to have a couple of exciting dishes to showcase with you for both Dish of the Day and the Almost Half Off Happy Hour, which, of course, is every Monday through Friday from 4 until 6. Busy show with you tonight. The first 6 episodes have featured a lot of live guests, and this one as well tonight, absolutely no different. We are jam-packed with people like coaches and alumni members and others who are going to be a part of our show tonight to talk about some of the great things happening in Gannon Athletics, both right now and in the next couple of weeks. So let's show you what we got on tap for tonight. On this Thursday evening, April 10th, you're probably inside enjoying the comfort of your home because the weather's not great, but that's okay. So we're happy to be with you here on this Thursday evening. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll have head coach Scott Stano from men's and women's golf. They're getting set for an exciting end of the regular season, which includes some PSAC championship action. And, oh, by the way, they got a regional to host coming up in May at Whispering Woods. We'll preview the men's East Atlantic Regional, hosted, of course, by Gannon at Whispering Woods. That's going to be coming up in the beginning portion of May. We'll also have Student Athletic Advisory Committee members coming on to preview the end of the year and the excitement around SAAC and what they do for Gannon University and Gannon University Athletics. And before we get to all that, it is football alumni weekend and spring game preview. We've got 2 alumni who are more than excited to be here and getting ready for what will be an exciting alumni weekend coming up starting tomorrow and going through the rest of the weekend. But before we get to that, we have to get to the most important part of the show, and that is the Dish of the Day. Starting off right, everybody. This week's Dish of the Day is none other than the Spikes Macho Nachos. Do you like nachos? Well, Mitch Farnsworth and I do, and Mitch is back, as always, every single week to preview our Dish of the Day. Mitch, you've got a kind of a montage of everything with these Spikes. I love the name, by the way, Spikes Macho Nachos. You've got what looks to be, obviously, the nachos. You've got chili, jalapenos, cheese, tomatoes, and then all those condiments, whether it be sour cream, whether it be pico. I don't really want to even explain it. Mitch is just going to dive right in. You can't beat nachos, Mitch, so give us a little bit of a preview and a taste of what your rating is on this for the Spikes Macho Nachos.
Very good. And then they just brought it out, too. So it's still hot piping, so good. I've been starving the last 2 weeks because you had, fill in. I had other
I was going to say, you haven't really gotten an opportunity to be on the last couple of weeks. He's been a working man, of course. We're lucky we just get to sit here. But I'll tell you what, we've had, of course, flatbreads. We've had plenty of other great dishes as well, whether it be the Reuben sandwich.
You can't get wrong
but,
with that Reuben.
I feel like nachos are a double positive in the fact that you can have them for an appetizer or you can have them for an entree if you put things like chili on them, tomatoes, cheese, whatever. So, this can eat for an app. It can eat for a meal. It really doesn't matter. It's whatever your preference is. You can eat it whenever.
Such a good comfort food, too. Yeah. I love to have it, anytime. It's so good. You got all the toppings on here, sour cream, tomatoes. Oh, my goodness. It's just loaded.
You can have it for breakfast if you want. I mean, why not?
I don't know about that one. But I was like, hey, you know what? Thursday, way to come back. It's a great dish to come back to after the Reuben a few weeks ago, and Kevin Huber filling in last week did a great job.
He did do a great job.
Yeah, I'm super excited. I've been kind of starving the last 2 Thursdays now. I'm like, it's my Thursday for UPick6.
Well, we're happy to have the main man back in the chair. I can tell you what. Our dish of the day, the Spikes Macho Nachos here at the UPick6 Tap House. If you want what Mitch is having, and you should, they're delicious. Every Thursday from 6 to 10 p.m., you can get our dish of the day here at the UPick6 Tap House for $2 off your purchase of that item. Mitch is going to take these back to his seat. He's going to enjoy them. We're going to continue the podcast. But again, the Spikes Macho Nachos, just $2 off not every Thursday, this Thursday from 6 to 10 p.m. here at the UPick6 Tap House. All right, let's go ahead and get into our show, shall we? We got a lot of stuff going on, but we're going to start with what's coming up this weekend. We got a lot of stuff on tap this weekend. We're going to get to all the events in just a second. But before we do, the football season hasn't officially begun yet, but it's always football season. And so coming up this weekend, we have Gannon Football Alumni Weekend coming up this Friday through Saturday. both at McConnell Family Stadium and around the town at Gannon University. So Alumni Weekend is more than just a game. We, of course, have the Gannon Spring Game coming up on Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. But in addition, we also have Football Alumni Weekend. And the wonderful thing about that is you get so many football alum on the gridiron to get to be a part of this. People who, of course, played at Gannon, got a chance to be a part of Gannon athletics for a period in their career, and now have a chance to give back and be a wonderful part of this football program that we know and love. So Gannon Football Alumni Weekend tomorrow through Sunday, and of course the spring game happening none other than Saturday morning at 10 a.m. We are very proud and pleased to bring in two alumni members who played on the gridiron. Doesn't seem like that long ago, right? Tony Zabo and Charbel Latouf.
It did seem like a little while ago.
Does it? Does it really?
30 years, maybe.
I don't know. Everything kind of is the same in its own right? The maroon and gold still shine through. And Charbel, I'm glad we clarified because I thought at the beginning I was interviewing your son. So for those who don't know, Charbel's son played at Cathedral Prep, and I was thinking to myself, is Charbel Latouf out of college yet? Well, no, it's his father. So I'm glad that we clarified.
He might be starting over.
He's actually going to Duquesne. So
there you go. All right, so let's get into this, guys. Alumni Weekend, obviously. Football blood runs true and true year in, year out. It doesn't matter whether you're playing now, whether you've been, on the sideline for the last couple of years, whether you've been an alumni for 5, 10, 15 years. Tony, we'll start with you. The excitement being back here for Alumni Weekend and getting to be with so many of the people that you played with and people who are part of that fraternity. Take me through what that means to you.
Well, I think it's great for the guys that come back and be downtown and see the current team. Mm-hmm. And obviously the coach has done a great job preparing these guys and the facilities. And I think you see like the rec center nowadays, how it's expanded, downtown improving. So you get to see a lot of that and get to see guys that you might only see once a year. Yeah. And the stories, of course, keep flying and it just brings a good vibe. And with the help of the athletic department, we actually have a good structured program that we're doing now that gives you a lot of bang for your buck over a weekend.
I was going to say it's more than just the spring game. Of course, that's the football game, but you've got so many other things going on. Charbel, Tony talked about all the memories and the stories that you talk about when you come back. I can just imagine when you get back to campus, there's got to be a flood of memories that come to your mind. What's that first feeling like when you get back on campus, when you're with the guys again? What's that feeling like for you as an alumni?
It's refreshing. It's refreshing to be around guys that have known you their basically entire adult life or your adult life, starting from the beginning. When you're 18 years old, you're young, you're green, you're naive, and you learn and grow and experience things with these men that grow up to be one of your best friends and kind of like family. You reminisce, you laugh, sometimes you cry about stuff that you miss. And we get to this age, we also lose some people, but it's been such a refreshing experience each year we get together.
For those of you who don't know, Charbel, you played at Gannon between the years of
1991 and 95.
And Tony, for you
89 to 93.
So again, a couple of decades. These guys have been part of this football student athlete fraternity, of course, that continues to grow day by day. We could sit here for 4 hours, 5 hours, probably an entire day and talk about all the stories that you have. I'm not going to force you to bring all those out. You want to save them for the weekend itself. But we'll start
I think they're sealed still. We're not allowed to discuss
one of those message in a bottle.
Well, we all have confidentiality agreements for that. I made it
non-disclosure.
I see. That makes sense. You got to make sure that you keep the best stories only yourself. But when you were back in playing, Charbel, for you in the early 90s, take me through what the program meant to you, because I think only current and former student athletes can really showcase, whether it's football or whatever sport it is, what that time meant to you and being a part of that brotherhood and that Gannon football community. What did it mean to you to get to be a part of that program and spend the time that you did with the football team?
Well, initially what it meant, it was overwhelming feeling of having the opportunity or being given the opportunity to play the game that you love. Even though, you're 18 years old, in any football player, in any basketball player, any athlete that grew up playing a sport gets to go to the next level and continue to play that sport. It's an overwhelming feeling, and it's a privilege that a lot of people don't get to receive. It was one of the best things ever for an 18-year-old kid coming out of, where I came up. I grew up in Newcastle, Pennsylvania. I came to Erie. It was foreign to me. But the people and the culture and the custom that Gannon provided was similar to how I was raised and grew up. And it just, it enlightened me, and I would do it all over again.
So many of the student athletes that I talk to on this podcast, and whether they're roaming on campus every single day or just I see them in passing, they'll always say, when I started my athletic career, Tony, the expectations that I had were here. And by the time that I left the program, the expectations that I had, what I got out of it, it shattered those expectations. Was that the case for you from when you came in?
It was, because I was at the year when they started the program back in 1989, and we literally didn't know like where the Ben Gay was or where was the tape, literally. So we really started from the beginning. And then a couple of years later, when Charbel and some of these other guys came, we kind of brought a lot of that structure. But I think I think this is on a Gannon poster or a book cover or something, where it's like you never really know your full potential, however they worded it, where you think, you just want to get through football camp, or, like when Charbel was a freshman, like this is all new to you, new system, new everything. But I think when you realize what you can do, like, well, I can compete here. I can go to classes. I can figure it out. I know that's an overused expression nowadays, we'll figure it out. But I think you don't realize your potential. You look at some of the guys this year today and what they accomplished, and you don't really know until you fail a couple times, which we all done. And now you're like, wow, I was able to do that. I made all conference, or I was a 2 or 3 year starter, or I made the dean's list. All those factors that you don't think were part of your plan and part of your life, and then you achieve them. So absolutely, you're 100% correct thinking that.
How has this program grown from when you guys started it in the beginning to where it is now? Can you take me through, just from your lens, how it's grown?
I think, as you just said, when we started, we literally were in the old chapel. Everything was started like, how do we do this? How do we do that? And, you kind of figured it out as you went. But also, I think when you look at the guys that are here today, and with Charbel next to me, is that legacy is legitimate. When Charbel brought that part up and talked about, one of the reasons you do come back here is we help start something, we help build something. And you see the facilities like the rec center nowadays is just gorgeous. The support, the different things. Like last year, we had almost 50 guys that end up showing up all together.
Right.
So obviously there's some interest there and some buzz, but also I think the legacy piece that a lot of us put into it is where you really see the connection, and like, all right, what's the next step, or how do we get this a little bit better? A couple of years ago we had 12 guys playing golf. Now we have 50 guys show up for a spring game. So I think you'll see that progress, and that's the best part about it.
Okay, so in talking about this weekend, I had Coach Eric Rayburn on the show a couple of weeks ago, and I get it's only April.
There he is right there.
There he is. Coach, good to see you. I was talking to him just a couple of weeks ago that it's only April, but yet from your guys' perspective, how important this weekend is, right? And this spring game, spring practice is, Charbel. How much of an emphasis does this team focus-wise need to have based on your prior experience for having a great showing at this spring game and continuing on through the spring? How important is this time of year for the team?
It's very important. It's valuable for not only their training, but for their enthusiasm.
Yeah.
You're way more enthused when you're actually playing the game rather than working out in the off season, running, lifting, etc. When you actually put those pads on and you're getting that that physical contact and playing the game that you grew up playing, and these kids have mastered, basically, it's amazing. Just the actual game itself, a spring game, is so important for the development going into the summer, keeping that enthusiasm through the summer, and those hot days, those hot evenings, those hot mornings, and grinding and looking forward to the next opportunity to actually put the pads on and play the game. It's a wonderful thing, and I'm glad that they do it.
It's a good point. Now, games don't happen until the end of August. This is your one opportunity. And
That's right.
I think we'll conclude with this, gentlemen. It's been wonderful having you both on. Tony Szabo and Charbel Latouf, two Gannon football alums, joining us ahead of Alumni Weekend tomorrow through this weekend, both at McConnell Family Stadium and around the university campus. A lot of student athletes now look up to the alumni and the people who built this path of success for Gannon football or other Gannon sports. What words of wisdom, encouragement would you have for this current rendition of the football team as they get ready to prepare for the 2025 season?
I think one of the keys for me is, and both me and Mr. Latouf fought this at one point, but trust in your coach. And obviously,
speak for yourself, Tony. Hold on.
Right?
That Tony, you speak. Remember, we talked about this. We're not going to speak for me. I'm not going to speak for you. We're not going to finish our sentences.
So for myself, what I've found is, trust in your coach, trust in the program, trust in the path, because they have things in place. They have schedules and that structure that it brings to you. When you look at kids down the road after they graduate and you realize, on the resume, they were a team captain or a 2 or 3 year starter, what they had to go through just to get to that first game and then to be successful on top of that. So when I think, what I would share with them or what I would get out of that process is, hey, follow the plan. The coaches, trust them. And, at that age, everything. 18, 19,
of course. I've been there.
you think you got the world all under control. And I think that's what I would get out of it is trust the process, because there's a lot of people and a lot of money and a lot of resources that bring this all together. So to shortchange yourself, that's all you're doing, make the process work. And I think to your last point is we weren't getting a lot of these guys coming up for homecoming because a lot of them were coaching or had kids that were playing, like Charbel's son, Dave's son. So a lot of the colleges around here, like Pitt was doing it, Youngstown State, where they bring their football guys in for the alumni weekend for the spring game. Mm-hmm. And I think we've had a lot more success both with the attendance and the interest and some other things. So that's another good trend that I see progressing to also.
Charbel, how about for you as someone who's been part of this program and has been able to forge success through it?
I'm just I'm very honored and privileged to be part of it. That's really what it comes down to.
Gentlemen, it's great seeing you both. I'm glad I could be the man in the middle here to break up any. No, I'm kidding. These guys love each other, and that's one of the things.
It's going to be a long weekend.
It's going to be a fun weekend, too,
great.
for sure. And, it's funny. We talk about how bad the weather could be. It's football weather. It doesn't matter. It could snow. It could rain. Who cares? We're going to all be out getting ready for the spring game coming up at 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. But, gentlemen, great to see you both. Enjoy the weekend and have a wonderful time here in the next 72 hours with the football alumni.
Perfect timing. I think the pizza just came.
Look at that. It's almost like I've been here a time or two. All right, Tony Szabo, Charbel Latouf, gentlemen, thank you again. Go ahead and go enjoy your food, including, our dish of the day. You can get the Spikes Macho Nachos for $2 off tonight from 6 to 10 o'clock. And, of course, football alumni weekend, April 11th through 13th. That's tomorrow through Sunday. Coming up here on the campus of Gannon University. All right, speaking of football, today we had an opportunity to have what was supposed to be an Easter egg hunt with Coach Rayburn, and then it turned into a schedule reveal. Football Today unveiled their 2025 schedule in an exciting way. Take a look.
Spring game's just a couple days away. Holiday break's right around the corner. I have to find something to get my team ready. I got it. It's going to take these guys all day to find these.
Looks like they're keeping us in house for the first clue.
Maybe check underneath the scoreboard.
Really? Would they put it under there?
Sure, it's worth a shot.
Man, this isn't fair. I'm on my own and they get two on their team. Where am I even going? Michigan? Well, guess I'm going on a road trip.
Yo, Bryce, I think I see something.
What, the night?
Nah, it's the eggs.
You think those are going to be there when the season starts?
The maps tell me to go up to the box. Guess it's up there then. What the? How'd that get in there? Must have forgotten to lock the door last night.
I don't know, man. We might get behind. We got a lot of ground to cover in the wreck.
What do you mean, bro? It's gonna rock.
Rock?
Yeah, look. The rocks.
I have looked everywhere this thing's telling me to go, and I cannot find these eggs. Did he just come from the... Must have been a bird.
It says once we get to the top of the hill, we're gonna find it.
I hope so. The other group's already probably done.
Does the map have you looking in here too?
Yeah.
Just tell me to look at my locker.
Plaid? I guess that's your choice of fashion.
Y'all finished yet?
Not yet. Hopefully nothing crazy though.
Indiana?
California?
Oh.
Yo, Bryce, I think we're about done with this.
Really? I gotta go get my helmet. Shoot, it's locked.
Coach Rayburn gonna be pretty upset with you.
Let's just get back up to the field.
We definitely won that, Brad. Like,
Nah, no way, man. I was right there, bro. I was right there.
I'm way faster than you. Like, come on now.
Tank, there's no replay until the season starts.
I guess we're just gonna have to wait until the fall and see that.
All right, so there is the football schedule for 2025 starting on August 30th. We're getting earlier and earlier, folks, with these schedules. Davenport is the home opener on August 30th at 12 o'clock, and then a trip to Saginaw Valley State starts the road trip. Homecoming this year, early September 13th against East Stroudsburg at 1 o'clock. Of course, all that coming up in the fall, and all that, of course, following what will be a great alumni weekend coming up on Saturday and Sunday. Hey, that's then, though, and this is now, and coming up in the next couple of weeks, and then followed by a great opportunity to see our men's golf team in May. We got a big stretch run coming up for the men's and women's golf team. And joining us, Scott Stano, the head coach of men's and women's golf, who I think I got you late enough in the show that the first round of the Masters is over.
Yeah.
I think so, right?
Yeah.
They maybe have
they got a
or
couple
something on
holes
17, 18. So we'll roll through this quickly and be able to get to the end. First and foremost, it has been a great season. You start, of course, in the fall. You ramp it back up in the spring and whatnot. For those who haven't gotten a chance to see the program yet, take us through how the teams are doing and where you sit right now with a few weeks left to go and then gearing up for the regional, of course.
Yeah, so it definitely feels like football weather
Right.
out there today. So we've
Not
been
being on the
practicing
links.
in a lot of that.
Right.
So, no, the teams are what we do in August, September, and October means just as much as what we do in March, April, and hopefully into May. So we got off to a really, really good start in the fall. That normally happens around here because they all play golf in the summertime.
Right.
So we got off to a good start, which helped us in the rankings to come out. And then we started out in Myrtle Beach. We went down to Myrtle Beach to get the season started. And then we went to Louisville 2 weeks ago. And yeah, it was probably a good humbling a little bit. Just got off to a little bit of a struggle bus on the first round, but we figured it out. And then our men's team, we go to IUP this week, which is another good field, a lot of region opponents. And then on the women's side, we just got done with the tournament. We played at Ohio Dominican, very, very strong field, finished third, played really good on the second round. And then we go to Walsh, and then it's PSACs on the women's side, and then we have a regional preview on the men's side, and then it's playoff time, and it's regionals. So busy stretch coming up.
I am always curious when talking to golf coaches in Erie because I don't envy you guys when it comes to this time of year. You have to deal with the elements. Of course, it's the season where you have a split season, right? So you have to deal, of course, with a little bit of a break, even though you're still training, but you're not necessarily playing in tournaments. What is the challenge in overcoming that challenge with the elements that we see in Erie and the break in the schedule? How do you keep the team, in essence, ready to roll, and how does the team prepare for that year in, year out?
Yeah, so if you think about it, if you play year-round, you're going to get burnt out, right?
Oh, yeah.
So what we do is we finished up around Halloween and then took a nice little break. Now we lifted and we did all the extra preparing stuff. And then once we come back in January, we're full go. We use the great facilities that we have at Gannon, between the golf room and the field house. And then a few times we were able to practice at 5-iron.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to simulate golf on that side of things. And we just, once the golf course opened, we're there. And what's fortunate with Spring Woods is open, and they're a great golf course to help us out. So on days like today, we're going outside. So it is tough, but in reality, I think it makes us a better team. I really do, because they have that toughness attitude. When we go play a tournament and it's, not the best weather, we have that attitude where, like, we've played in worse. So from a mental side of things, it really does help us. Now, granted, who doesn't want to practice in 75-degree weather every day? But
I think the people who live around here are going to play as long as it's not snowing outside.
Right.
That's what I've gathered.
Right. And so, I mean, they do a great job, and they love golf. And so if it's open, they're going to go play, and we're going to have practice. And, today was another day where it wasn't the best weather, but they're out there, we're practicing. So it makes us tougher in the long run.
I'm telling you, it's not Florida where it's got to be 80 and sunny for you to be able to play. You get to Erie, and even the casual golfers like myself, first time it gets to 45 degrees outside, you get some sun, boom, you're out there, you're on the first tee,
sure.
You're ready to tee it up. And I think, like you said, that makes your team really resilient. Talking about the team and some of the individual members, golf is both a team and it's an individual game. And I think one of the things that, you've talked a little bit about is you have a lot of youth in your lineup, both on the men's and the women's side. Take us through kind of what that mix has been like, and just coming together as a squad this year for the student athletes that you have.
Yeah, I mean, we still have quite a bit of seniors in the lineup. Yep. We both have 2 seniors on both sides. Between on the men's side, Mike and Elijah are in there. They've been battle tested. They've been there. And the other guys in the lineup too have stepped up and played. And so they have the experience, and, they care about themselves, on the golf course, like making sure they're doing well, but they care about the teammates too. Like, they know with everything's on electronic now. So you have your scorecard on your phone, you have the leaderboard on your phone. So you're seeing it. So if somebody makes a double bogey, you're okay. If this is a hole that we can be aggressive on, we're going to be aggressive. And same on the women's side. I mean, we have Andrea and Dee Dee, who are 2 seniors, but then we also have a bunch of underclassmen underneath, and they're doing great. I mean, everybody understands on both sides that the program was here long before everybody, and it's going to be here after. Well, what are we going to do to make the program better on the golf course and off the golf course? And they all have bought in, and it's fun to be a part of.
Fun to be able to watch it too, and we're going to talk about how you can watch with the regional and preview in the regional itself in a couple of minutes. But Scott, of course, with the women, PSA season is coming up in just a couple of weeks' time, and we don't have to go very far into the dominance that the women's team has had in the last 5 years at PSAC championships, and I'm sure the expectation is the same. Take us through the preparation, what you're kind of looking for as you gear up and you get ready for that tournament coming up.
Yeah, it's funny you say that. On this day, I had Sarah White text me earlier today to give me a nice reminder that on this day 4 years ago, we won the playoff to get our second one going on. And so it's fun. It's fun to be a part of. They're playing really well, but they want to win, and they want to keep going. But that tournament, the field, the golf course itself is going to help us prepare for regionals. Where regionals is at this year on the women's side is at Grand Valley State. It's a cool golf course. It's a link-style golf course. And so we're going to tune up. I mean, you don't want to peak too early, right? But we're slowly starting to play a little better. And so our goal this week is, continue to improve. Tiger Woods is my favorite golfer. What did he always talk about? Eliminating the double bogeys, no bogeys on par 5s, no bogeys under 125 yards with a 9-iron for them. And so those are points of emphasis that we're putting in this tournament and PSACs to help us to ultimately get to our goal of making it to nationals, because we never made it to nationals, but that's what we want. That's the goal. And it's hard, but if we keep it simple and play smart, then I think we can do it.
And again, the regional you talked about you talk about how a link style course is fun. I just laugh as a casual golfer because I think link style. I think immediately I'm shooting 100. By the way, I'd also be okay with peaking early if it means I can shoot an 80 in the first 3 months of the year.
True.
Regardless. So when you look at the dominance that your team has had in PSACs and now wanting to take that extra step, right? If you're able to get to the regional and you get a chance to get to nationals, what do you think it will take? Is it just a shot here, a shot there? What's that next level that you think this women's team can get to be able to get to that point?
They're so close. And last year we were really close, and we talked about it. They wanted it so bad. In the first round, they wanted it so bad. We didn't play as smart as we could have. And understanding, getting to the point of, you know what, boring golf is good golf. And if the pin's tuck left and the water's left and there's a bunker, it's okay to hit it to the fat part of the green. And I think on the first day last year, we just pressed a little bit. We tried to go after a little too many pins. And you could just tell that they wanted it so bad. And then the next 2 days we played good. But at that level, you can't get away with playing 2 out of 3 rounds. So I think the point of emphasis from here to the end is let's keep it simple. Let's keep it smart. And then, you got the variables of the golf course and stuff like that. You can't compete. There's no defense on the other team. But if we can play our game and play it smart and keep it simple, I think we're going to have a shot going into the final round.
Women's is at Grand Valley State for the regional, and the men's is right here at Whispering Woods, the wonderful golf course that is just a few miles away from Gannon University, coming up in the early portion of May. Scott, I know you have a great relationship, of course. You and Rich Rocky, the owner, are related. You've played this course and been on this course a million times. I'm sure the excitement about being able to host the regional here is through the roof.
Yeah, I've been there since I was 18 years old. It's hard to believe that golf course is that old already. Yeah. It's a great golf course. It's a hidden gem. I mean, and now that we can showcase it for Erie, if you're a fan of any type of golf, you're going to see a lot of great golfers, not just for our team, but, teams coming in. And what's really cool is that, no matter what the results are, the top 3 teams from there is going on to nationals. And any casual fan knows where nationals is, PGA National, the Bear Trap, the Honda Classic, people watch that on TV. So knowing that you have teams leaving Erie to go play that golf course, it's a cool situation. For our team, that's a nice home field advantage. We're going to be playing, I understand, I would figure that we're playing multiple tees on certain holes because that golf course can do that. And so we'll be prepared, and it's a fun opportunity to finally have regionals at home in our backyard. So
I was going to say, because, you talked about the hidden gem, people in Erie kind of understand and know Whispering Woods, but what about the course and the home field advantage, for lack of a better word, makes it unique? Because, every course has their little, nooks and crannies to it, but I think for you guys being able to showcase the course is exciting. And to your point, it's also can be challenging, and that's what makes it interesting for the regional.
Yeah, I'm not going to give away too many secrets on how to attack that golf course.
You don't have to give me the secrets. I could get the secrets. It wouldn't make a difference.
Yeah, right. I mean, that golf course is visually intimidating.
Yeah.
And so if for people who are going out there the first time, they're going to be like, oh, my God, there's a ravine there. There's woods there. There's a hazard there. But in reality, it's a lot of eye candy. I mean, they're there just for show. If you put the ball in play, you're going to be able to score. And our team might not be the longest team on that hits the driver, but they're one of the straighter teams. And then, they're deadly with the wedges. And so there's enough holes where you have wedges in and you're able to score. There's not like they're not Oakmont greens. They're very fair. They're very forgiving, and they got subtle breaks. But you play it enough times, you understand which is breaking. You understand the grain, because at that point in time, you're going to see the grain on the greens. And so if you're not paying attention to that, you might not be able to understand why this putt was faster than on the last hole. Well, it's down grain, so it's naturally has to be faster. So those are the tricks of the trade that our team picks up by playing out there all the time. So that's really good, and I'm excited for it.
It's going to be a ton of fun coming up. May can't come soon enough. Hopefully the weather's a little bit better, but the teams that are here are going to be excited nonetheless.
Yep.
And, Coach, it's wonderful to get to talk to you.
Thank you for having me.
Enjoy the rest of the season.
Yeah,
Hopefully everything goes well, and we're excited for PSACs and, of course, the regional coming up at Whispering Woods in early part of May.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks
for having me.
Scott Stano joining us here on the podcast, on our United podcast, brought to you by UPick6. In case you missed it, our dish of the day, which is the spiked macho nachos. That is going to be $2 off between now and 10 o'clock. Every Thursday, our dish of the day is $2 off between now and 10. We just got sent the dish of the days for the rest of the month. Let me tell you something right now. They are all absolutely delicious and to die for. So make sure to check back in as we roll along. All right, in just a couple of minutes, we'll have a member from the Student Athletic Advisory Committee joining us on the show to talk about their excitement over the end of the year celebration, as well as everything that's gone on this year for the athletic department. Before we get to that, though, we want to let you know that we talked about it a lot last week, but now, tonight, 2 weeks away from Day of Giving, our Centennial Celebrate Day of Giving, coming your way starting 8 o'clock at night on April 24th and going all the way through 8 p.m. on April 24th. Excited for it. We want you to be involved. We want you to be a part of Gannon Athletics just as much as the next person. And so to get excited about it and to celebrate our Day of Giving, here's a couple of our teams and student athletes about the importance of why your gift can mean the world to their squad.
Our teams at Gannon are doing incredible work, and we need all your help and support to make a difference. Every contribution, no matter how big or small, directly impacts our athletes, making a more strong and connected community.
When you give, you're not just supporting a team, you're investing in the future of our university.
Just give.
Gannon for me has really turned my life around, really. Both the community and the athletics program has got me where I am now and got me to a place where I feel comfortable being. Our community and our alumni and every sporting cast we have in our program is crucial for me and all of the other guys involved.
Thank you. We really appreciate their all support. It means a lot for us. They push us forward for everything, even in athletic or daily life. We really appreciate it.
How's it going, Gannon football family? This is Elijah Banks. I play quarterback at Gannon University. It is our annual Day of Giving. Please consider a gift to the Gannon football family. Now through April 25th, the link is now live. Knight Nation runs strong, so now it's our opportunity to show our strength. Go Knights.
How's it going, Gannon football family? This is Bryce Webb, a linebacker here at Gannon University. It is our annual Day of Giving. Please consider a gift to Gannon football now through April 25th. The link is now live. Knight Nation runs strong, and this is an opportunity for us to show our strength. Go Knights!
All right, let's talk about what's on tap for this weekend of action around the campus of Gannon University. We will start with what's happening right now in Daytona Beach, Florida. We're jealous, both for the competitive cheer and dance team because they get to be at Nationals, but also because they get wonderful weather for the NCAA and NDA Collegiate Cheer and Dance Championships that's happening now through Saturday. Again, make sure to stay tuned to GannonSports.com to get all of the details on how Kelly Mikowski's team performs this weekend. Coming up tomorrow, baseball home against UPJ. That'll be a 1 and 3:30 p.m. doubleheader. They'll be on the road at UPJ on Saturday. Then softball's got a pair of home doubleheaders on Saturday and Sunday. First, they'll take on UPJ. Senior Day is on Saturday, 3 and 5 doubleheader, and then another twin bill on Sunday at 1 and 3 o'clock, so you can get your softball fix in at McConnell Family Stadium this weekend. Also, coming up this weekend, women's lacrosse travels just a few miles down I-79 to face Slippery Rock on the road on Saturday. And as mentioned earlier, 10 o'clock, at McConnell Family Stadium on Saturday is the football spring game. Excited for that. And to get to showcase, of course, Alumni Weekend coming up as we roll along throughout the season. All right, so one of the organizations that does so much with the athletic department and making sure that the student-athlete relationship with the athletic department runs smoothly is the Student Athletic Advisory Committee. And here to join me right now, one of the board members, Zoe Gaetchen. She's a junior. It is on the women's wrestling team as well. So you're pretty busy this time of year and even a couple of months ago. But first of all, thanks for coming on. And I know that this time of year for SAC is an exciting time because you're getting ready for the end of the year. But let's start with the year in review so far. You know, there's a lot of importance to the Student Athletic Advisory Committee. For those who don't know, kind of take me through what the importance is and what it's been like for you getting to be a part of that this year.
I've been a member of SAC, Student Athlete Advisory Committee, abbreviated SAC, for the past 3 years now, and I got to be part of the executive board the past few years. SAC basically is a way for student athletes to communicate up through the food chain, and kind of make our voices heard. There are 2 to 4 members per team, and it's just a really great way to engage everybody together and all have a voice, because you kind of speak for the whole student population of athletes.
Take me through what this year has been like, because every year, of course, I'm sure, and you've been now part of it for a couple of years. There are things that student athletes kind of know that's important to be able to execute that maybe, the administration doesn't always know or the public doesn't know. Take me through what that conversations are like and the importance of having those conversations between the student athlete leaders day in and day out.
It's very important because some of us don't always want to voice our opinions to maybe people in like positions of more power.
Mm-hmm.
So to be that middle chain is just so important. And we like to be able to voice our opinions, especially with our new SAC liaison, Mo Walters.
Mm-hmm.
She's done an excellent job this year getting everything organized and making sure we're all on track to go through the rest of the year.
Now, one of the things that you're very much involved with, and we've been harping on this for the last couple of months, has been Make-A-Wish. Of course, there are so many programs that Gannon Athletics partners with, and Make-A-Wish is one of those. We had just a couple of weeks ago at Acrobatics and Tumbling, 11-year-old Joshua get his wish granted, getting to go down to Florida, and just that incredible spectacle. And, of course, SAC is such a big part of that. Take us through the Make-A-Wish process this year. We've been able to donate a significant amount of money there, and kind of what that has meant to you, and just seeing that continue to blossom year in, year out.
Yeah, the last few years I've been involved with the Make-A-Wish reveals, and this year I'd say it was probably one of the best.
Yeah.
It was so impressive to see how everybody came together. We raised so much money, and it's really good to see it go to that use. It took many months of preparation, a lot of fundraisers, a lot of bucketing for money, but combined with everything, we raised over $10,000, and it took many hours to set up the event, but it was definitely worth it in the end, and we're still continuing to raise money for it.
And I think one of the things that, whether it's Make-A-Wish or other organizations that Gannon Athletics partners with, is the importance of outside of competition, right? We always talk about the student athlete part, and I think we always talk about student comes first, and I think the athletic advisory committee is such a big part of that. Take us through how important those relationships are, and how SAC can kind of help with that, and what's that like, whether it's Make-A-Wish or other organizations, having that partnership and showing that student athletes here at Gannon are so committed to just more than what goes on the field of competition.
It's really nice to get to collaborate with other organizations like Make-A-Wish. It also allows us to collaborate with other teams and other schools as well. For example, I went to the PSAC conference a couple weeks ago down at Lock Haven, and we spent a couple days chatting about bigger ideas, but we also got into like smaller groups and talked about how we can kind of collaborate with each other more, because we seem to have kind of more of a separation right now, and we want to make all the teams come together and be like one big PSAC rather than just being separated. And we came up with a lot of good ideas on how we can collaborate with each other.
Are there some ideas that you're okay with sharing, or just maybe some of the things that you've seen, the leadership team has seen, that can help collegiate athletics, the PSAC, Gannon Athletics, continue to get even bigger and better year in, year out, and heading into next year?
We did talk about a couple activities that would make it easier to communicate with other teams and schools. And actually, this originated from Gannon. It was my idea.
Nice.
And I brought it up to all of PSAC, and everyone loved the idea. We do the sibling sports. So women's wrestling, we are the sibling sport with acro and tumbling. We've done a bunch of little events with them. And I brought it up at the PSAC conference. Everyone loved it. So we're talking about maybe doing like sibling schools. So we'd be paired up with Lock Haven or Slippery Rock and try to do more events together. Like when they come here, we go there with the events.
Take me through what it has meant to you in terms of a gratifying experience about being part of this organization. Student Athletic Advisory Committee is among some of the best student athlete leaders that we have on campus. How gratifying is it to get to be a part of that, and getting to see, because you have new members every year, getting to see continuously, new student athletes upon new student athletes be a part of this and share their ideas as well?
It is so awesome to be a part of this organization. It's truly been such a great leadership opportunity for me, especially as I continue through my education. And it's really nice to see that, especially this year, I found student athletes coming to me and saying, how can I get involved in this? I want to be here. How can I join this organization? We really like what you guys do.
we got a couple of weeks left, and it's hard to believe we only have a couple of weeks left in the school year. And then for you and everybody else who's a student athlete, it makes it even more challenging because you've got finals and you have practices, or in some cases you have games. But we, of course, have the end of the year celebration coming up at the end of April, some of the other things as well. When you look back at the year as a whole and every single program, whether it's your women's wrestling program or other athletic programs, how exciting has it been to get to see the success of Gannon Athletics? You've been now here a couple of years as a junior. You've had the opportunity to see the success and how it's materialized. What has it been like for you getting to see how well these programs have been doing and getting to cheer on that success with other programs as well?
It has been so truly exciting, especially this year. We've seemed to do very well this year throughout all the sports. Women's wrestling did great this year, and I got to see that firsthand, obviously. And coming together at the end of the year, it's like it makes it whole, because sometimes we don't see each other in the success that we do have. Like, we see it on social media, stuff gets posted around, but we don't truly see how many of us there are and how successful we are together and how we have to be together to make that success happen.
I know you know how important it is to be involved, but for other student athletes who maybe are listening to this podcast right now, take me through the importance of what it means to be involved, how you should be interested in being a part of SAC, and maybe how you can try to be a part of that, whether it be through the committee itself or in other ways to be able to help your program.
Definitely through the committee is a great idea. People enjoy it and people want to join it, which is super, super nice to see, because we didn't have a lot of interest in it the past couple of years, but this year at least, we've had a lot of people wanting to join the party.
I was going to say, all the ideas you come up with are exciting, and I'm sure you probably have a laundry list by the time you get to the end of the year of new things and new ideas. And just so for you and being part of the committee and whatnot, how exciting has this student-athlete experience been for you? I ask everyone that comes on what your expectations were when you got here and how those expectations have been shattered or met at this point in your career. What has your time at GU been like, and what it's meant to you compared to what you expected at the beginning of this whole thing?
My expectations were definitely met. Gannon was my dream school for wrestling, and I was super excited to get recruited to be here. It's everything I dreamed it would be, really.
So exciting. It's wonderful to get to talk to all these student athletes, and of course, Student Athletic Advisory Committee. If you're a student athlete and you're watching this podcast, make sure to get yourself involved, have interest, be a part of this. They have so many great ideas, and the end of the year banquet coming up as well. SAC will be giving out some of their awards at the end of the year banquet. I'm not going to reveal, of course, who those are yet, because that would be spoiling the fun. But Zoe and others are a big part of that. Zoe Gations of the women's wrestling team, and such a big part of the Make-A-Wish endeavors with SAC. Thanks again for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Enjoy the rest of the year. That's going to go by quick, as we know. We only have a few weeks left, but best of luck on finals and the rest of the season as it is.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right, that's Zoe Gations of the women's wrestling team, a junior and part of the Student Athletic Advisory Committee, joining us in preparation for the end of the year and what the year has been like so far from the student athlete perspective. Thanks again for being a part of our show tonight. Well, if you missed what's on tap, here's a look at what you can expect for this weekend. We got a lot of things at McConnell Family Stadium happening. Of course, softball with 4 games coming up this weekend. This team, they've been rolling. I'll tell you what, Michelle Wiley's got her squad ready to go after that 150th win just a couple of weeks back. Competitive cheer and dance, our best luck and best wishes to them as they move through the NCA and NDA Collegiate Cheer and Dance Championships happening today through the weekend as well down in Daytona Beach, Florida. Kelly Mikowski, send some of that weather up our way too, won't you? We really need it with 40s and rain so far this week. All right, as we continue along in our preparation for Day of Giving, here's another one of our teams as to explaining how important your gift and your donation can be, coming up April 24th through 25th.
This program has led a lot to me. I've met my best friends, and the program has been very successful over the years, and it's great to be a part of the success we've had.
It's incredibly important. We couldn't do any of this without them, and so having them behind us is always really important. Things like us going to California for tournaments or Florida, those kinds of things all kind of depend on them. And when they help us out, we're really appreciative of that.
And again, want to make an announcement tonight as we get ready for shows coming up down the road. April 24th, our normal podcast here at the UPick6 Tap House will be an extended podcast from 6 to 8 o'clock on Thursday the 24th. And As we've also previously mentioned, Carrie McKay announced it on last week's show, we will be hosting a 12-hour live stream on the campus of Gannon University for Day of Giving on April 25th from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., showcasing all of our teams, our student athletes, our coaches on the importance of the day, the excitement around it, and of course, some other fun things along the way as well that we won't necessarily spoil just yet, but a lot of great things in the works for Day of Giving 2025. All right, speaking of excitement, it's that time of the week. How about our top 5 plays of the week? We were spoiled for choice on this Thursday, the 10th. Here are our top 5 plays of the week. All right, here we go. Let's start with number 5 on our top 5 plays of the week, and we go to women's water polo. How about the home run heave from Isabella Trunzo to Ellie Velasco in the win against Penn State there? And first, it's the long pass that leads to a wonderful opportunity for Velasco. Trunzo hitting her in stride. But then, how about the way that Velasco puts this over top of the goalkeeper? Little pop, whoop, right over there. No problem. Gannon got the win in that game on senior day against the Penn State Barron Lions in the WWPA Erie Classic. All right, let's go to number 4, acrobatics and tumbling on senior day. Only appropriate that we showcase Lauren Rupert's tumbling routine. How about that? Rupert with an incredible routine featuring many, many difficult moves and maneuvers, part of a wonderful competition that was the home finale for Gannon in their meet against Quinnipiac. To number 3, walk-offs were the name of the game in this top 5, and we'll start with softball. Jenna Klontz in game 1 of the doubleheader against Seton Hill, ripping one down in the left center field fence area, and it plates 2 runs. And the Golden Knights walking off Seton Hill. This was, of course, part of a 6-game win streak for the Golden Knights. Klontz with a big hit. 1 run scores. Here comes the other. We got another walk-off coming up in our top 5 plays of the week. But this Golden Knights softball team, as the year goes on, all they do is get stronger. And this walk-off win, the exclamation point on what's been a great streak so far. All right, to number 2, back to the pool. Women's water polo against Salem. Show that to me again. Emma O'Gorman. Oh, my, what? Behind the back, no-look shot to find the cage. How difficult is that? Emma O'Gorman making it easy for the Golden Knights, clocking in at number 2 on our top 5 plays of the week. But at number 1, you wanted walk-offs? How about a walk-off shot? Ian Soto in the bottom of the 7th, 3-3 game. First pitch he sees, he wastes no time. And in the rain and in the cold at McConnell Family Stadium, crushes one way over the center field fence, and the Golden Knights come away with a 6-3 victory over Slippery Rock in game 1 of that doubleheader. You know, the ironic part about the 4-game series last week is that 3 of the games ended in walk-offs. Gannon won 1 of them, Slippery Rock won 2, but the Golden Knights also took the second game at home against the Rock and ended up with a huge win and a doubleheader sweep last weekend. So the Golden Knights, well, what a job in our top 5 plays of the week, and I can tell you they're only going to get better in terms of the plays that you'll see as we move along throughout the next couple of weeks. All right, let's talk about some other announcements that we've got going on as we roll along here on the United Podcast, brought to you by UPick6 Tap House on the corner of 4th and State. Again, make sure to get our dish of the day. Even when we go off the air, the dish of the day is still $2 off between 6 and 10 o'clock tonight. And every Thursday, UPick6 Tap House is featuring a dish of the day that you can get for $2 off tonight. It's the Spikes Macho Nachos. Mitch Farnsworth has already finished all of them. I'm seeing him on the table over there to the left. They are delicious. If you want a little bit of a kick with the jalapeno, great. If you're just a big nacho fan, you'll love this as well. A dish of the day tonight is the Spikes Macho Nachos. Also want to mention as well, every single day that there is a Gannon away event, you can come down to the Tap House and watch it for free on their array of televisions here at UPick6 Tap House in the corner of 4th and State. All Golden Knights away events are streamed live here at the UPick6 Tap House every single day that we have one away from our home facilities here at the Tap House. All right, some other announcements here and some things that you may want to know. And of course, we want to say thank you to all the officials this week, as throughout the NCAA, in conjunction with us here at Gannon University. It is Officials Appreciation Week now through the 13th. We want to say thank you to all the officials who make these games and these student-athletes experiences possible. Without them, we would not be able to do what we do. So thank you to all the officials who play an integral role of every single game on our campus and we wish you the best moving forward throughout the rest of the season and beyond. We are thankful for what you do. Earlier this week, we named our Gannon Student Athletes of the Week, brought to you by Chick-fil-A Erie. Katie Armstrong, who has been dominant in the circle. She had another great pitching performance last week and will likely be featured a couple more times this weekend, both on Senior Day and on Sunday. She earns our Female Student Athlete of the Week. Male Student Athlete of the Week is the guy you just saw hit the walk-off 3-run shot. That'd be Ian Soto, who was hitting at the heart of DJ Cannon's lineup with the baseball team, who continues to trek their way in hopes of getting into the ranks of the PSAC tournament. Ian Soto and Katie Armstrong are our Chick-fil-A Erie Student Athletes of the Week. And again, want to remind you one more time, Softball Senior Day coming up Saturday starting at 3 p.m. and a doubleheader against UPJ. The Golden Knights will be honoring 5 seniors along the way, including likely Game 1 starting pitcher Maggie Lenda, who have spent so much of their time with this program and have dedicated countless hours of their days as student athletes to the softball program. So we will salute all of them on Saturday in what will be a 4-game extravaganza between Saturday and Sunday for the softball team. Speaking of awards, as we talked about our Student Athletes of the Week, how about Jade Strickland, who earlier this week was named the WWPA Offensive Player of the Week, the senior, with a wonderful weekend in the WWPA Erie Classic. All 4 games, she tallied multiple goals, and just such an important piece of this Gannon offensive attack for Zarko Sadakovic and the women's water polo program. Congrats to Jade for earning our WWPA Offensive Player of the Week. One more time before we let you go, we want to note the football schedule that we released just a couple of hours ago. Gannon's football schedule beginning on August 30th with a home game against Davenport. Saginaw Valley State's their first road game on September 6th. And homecoming early this year, September 13th, they'll take on East Stroudsburg. Other home games this year include Slippery Rock and Clarion on back-to-back weekends. Edinboro in that rivalry matchup on October 25th. And the final home game of the season will be against Cal PA. That's on November 8th at noon. That is in the fall. Football Alumni Weekend starts tomorrow as we talk to a couple of alums earlier in the show. That will be starting tomorrow through April 13th, and the spring game at McConnell Family Stadium. It is free at 10 o'clock on Saturday morning. Well, we got so much going on, of course, this week and next week as well. We're 7 episodes into the United podcast. What's better than 7? How about 8? Join us coming up next week because we've got more live guests and so many other exciting things surrounding Gannon Athletics along the way next week. So Thursday, April 17th, 6 to 7 o'clock, right back here at the UPick6 Tap House. We've got baseball and softball coming on. Michelle Wiley and a student athlete will join us from the softball team. DJ Cannon and a student athlete will join us as well from the baseball team as they are getting set in just a couple of weeks' time to prepare for their PSAC tournaments, which are near the beginning of May. We'll also have, of course, our top 5 plays of the week, the dish of the day, which is going to be another good one, so make sure to stay tuned for that. What's on tap? And more of a Day of Giving preview, as at that point we'll be 1 week away from our Centennial Celebrate Day of Giving on the Gannon University campus. Well, thanks again, everybody, for being a part of the United podcast this Thursday evening. In case you missed part or all of our show and are just catching us now, you can watch our shows archived on demand whenever you please, both on our Facebook, X, and Instagram pages, as well as our YouTube channel. And that's at Gannon Athletics. Make sure to follow us on social media. GannonSports.com is the website to follow for all the latest in Gannon news and information. We'll see you next week right back here at the UPick6 Tap House at 6 o'clock for our next podcast coming up on the 17th. Until then, everybody, we leave you, as always, with the week that was on what has been a wonderful week in Gannon Athletics. Stay safe, stay warm, hope for no snow. We'll see you next Thursday, everybody. Take care.